the top 5 DC stories to look forward to in 2026. I'm excited for 2026. When it comes to DC, I think it's going to be a fun year. So let's kind of go through this a little bit here. Supergirl hype. All right. Let's be honest here. Supergirl is going to be a huge film for DC. But to get there, they're going to have to promote this movie. And the hype is going to build over time. Is the hype going to be the same level that it was for Superman? It's debatable. I don't think it's going to be. Supergirl isn't as beloved. That's a good way to put it. Not as beloved as Superman is. But it is maybe the most anticipated DC project of 2026. Maybe. For some, I would say for the general audience it is. It is the second film in the DCU. And I think this is the one that's going to really open the door to showcasing the wider galaxy and the strange that is the DCU. And that's why I'm excited for it. I think with every trailer, every poster, and every bit of marketing that's going to come out, it's just going to fuel the fire for the excitement for Supergirl. And yeah, I think that's going to be kind of the first, one of the big stories of 2025 is the hype getting to Supergirl. Next up is Clayface, and how this could be the surprise win of the year for DC. When you think about it, when you sit back and think about it, Clayface is unconventional. It's really the weirdest swing DC Studios could have made at this point in the studio's existence. Who would think that the best idea is for the third movie of the new franchise to be an R-rated horror film based on a villain that isn't even one of the top probably 5, maybe not even top 10 villains in Batman's rogue gallery. Like, when you sit there and think about it, you're kind of just like, that is kind of bizarre, isn't it? That's kind of a bizarre move. But this isn't a risk financially. This is more a risk when it comes to perception. Because financially, I think this movie is almost a guaranteed hit. The rumors are that this movie is only going to cost them what? I think 40 million to 60 million, something around there to make. So you figure this movie has to make, let's be a little, kind here. Let's say it has to make $130 million to be profitable. The fact that it's going to have the DC branding, they're going to promote it as a DC story. I think it's almost guaranteed to hit that within the first week or two of being out. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw upwards of, say, 250 to 350 with this movie. So when you sit back, yeah, this is going to probably be a huge surprise win for most people's eyes. It may not be a surprise for DC, but in a lot of people's eyes, it's going to be a surprise. And let's also not forget that horror is huge right now. So they sell the DC label, sell the fans on the DC label, and sell the horror aspects of it. Yeah. Think of Sinners numbers. I honestly say, you sit there and think of how well Sinners did last year, or this past year, I could see it doing similar numbers to Sinners. So keep an eye out on that. I think it's going to be a huge hit for him. I think another big story will be more DC projects will be announced. And, I get it. I know some people don't think this. I've talked to a lot of people. I see a lot of people jump in my comment sections who sit there and say, Slav, they're not going to do much more with DC until this merger is complete or this sale is complete. And you couldn't be more wrong. DC is not just going to stop. It's not going to just stop. DC is going to move forward and truly build out its universe and plan for the future. Like I said, the Netflix deal could fall apart in the 12th hour. If DC Studios sits on their hands up until that happens, they're then going to be rushing to announce and get projects created and ready to go. They can't do that. If the deal goes through, Netflix is going to want to see a future. They're going to want to see plans for the future for DC. They don't want to sit there and they don't want to come in and say, oh, you only plan up to Man of Tomorrow? You have nothing after that? They want to see what's going on after that. So all intents and purposes, we're going to start to hear about new projects that are going to come out in 2027. around Man of Tomorrow, and maybe even early 2028. So to me, that's exciting. Are we going to get confirmation of a Wonder Woman movie? Are we going to get a Brave and the Bold update? A release date, possibly? Are we going to get more TV shows? Because personally, I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see in the next 12 months some announcements coming of what's to expect, even if it's just 3 to 5 projects. What's coming up from 2027 to 2028. I could see them announcing some things. So that's another one. And then Man of Tomorrow set leaks are inevitable. Look, we saw this before in 2024 with the Superman. With Man of Tomorrow about to start its production, it's only a matter of time until we start to see the grainy set leaks of photos. Of course, with that will come the haters saying that it's the worst movie to ever be made. Look how terrible it looks. Why is there a squirrel? Why are there wrinkles? Because that's what's going to happen. We're going to hear that once again with these set leaks. But on the flip side, you're going to have the DC fans, the fans who are excited, who are going to theorize, who are going to break down the different costumes and the colors and the context as the excitement builds. And that's why it's going to be one of the big stories of 2026. And then finally, I say the Lanterns show will show a different side of the DCU. Much like Clayface. Well, I think Clayface is going to give us like this weird horror aspect of it. Lanterns is all about tone. And what I mean by that is this is DC proving that the universe doesn't have to feel the same across every project. Look, Supergirl being the second movie is going to feel very similar to Superman. I have no doubt. Yes, it's a galaxy cosmic adventure. There's going to be some weird things in there for sure. But I think at the core of it, it's going to still feel like a continuation of Superman. The next project after that is Lanterns. But I think with this is going to be where people start to talk in how different it feels from Superman and Supergirl, how different it feels from Peacemaker, how different it feels from what James Gunn has made before, specifically within the DC universe. And that's going to be a big driving force on the excitement that continues to build for DC. It's going to show how grounded and confident DC television can be. So for me, I think these are the 5 stories that are going to kind of encapsulate what DC, specifically the DCU, is this year. Now, granted, I didn't touch things like comics. I didn't touch things like the animated shows or the animated movies that are coming out. Why? Well, comics have been tearing it up. We just talked about that the other day. I think it's going to continue, but I don't think it's going to be one of the main stories of 2026. It could be if they do something drastic and crazy and exciting. Absolutely could be. Could be one of the big stories. And we'll talk about it at the end of the year. Same with animation. There's nothing that kind of sticks out to me that I sit here and say, animation-wise, DC is going to just kill it. Nothing yet. Doesn't mean it won't happen. It doesn't mean that Nightfall comes out, which comes out this year, I think, and it just doesn't blow everybody away. And if it does, then we'll talk about it at the end of the year. But as of now, these are the 5 stories I think. But if I missed something, let me know in the comments. I want to know what you think. Because honestly, you guys may have some different ideas and different opinions on what could possibly be the biggest stories for DC in 2026. So I'd love to hear them in the comments below. So do that.